What's going on, Wired fam? How's everybody doing? I feel like you guys are really far away. Come back in here. Let's see. Let's see if we can't get you guys closer. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing on a Thursday? Hey, I feel a little weird. It's Thursday, not Wednesday. But hey, Wednesday, Thursday, just a day apart, right? It ain't nothing but 24 hours. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm sorry I missed you guys yesterday. Man, it has been crazy this week. Absolutely crazy. This shop right here, Wired Marine Electronics, has been off the chain this week. I've done 4 boats already this week. This is number 5, and I've got 3 more to go. So I got 8 boats. A lot of live scopes going on boats this week. So, wanted to get on live and chat with you guys because I didn't get to get on last night, and I apologize to you guys for not getting on last night. But we're here tonight, so we're going to talk crappie fishing. We're going to talk some electronics for those of you that are looking for live scope and are looking for any electronics, not just live scope, but if you're putting electronics on your boat. I was sitting here, so I'm not going to name any names, but this boat got brought to me. Guy called and he said, "Hey, I started my install and I can't finish it. I'm a little lost. Can you help?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'd love to help." And he's like, I've already started it, so you might not want to, jump into it, somebody else's work." I said, "Nah, don't worry about that. Bring it in here. I'll hook you up. We'll get you going. Just bring it to me." So he says, "Cool." My glasses look sideways. All right, there we go. So bring it in. No worries. We'll get you fixed. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Again, not naming any names. I don't even know if he's on the lives or not, but we're helping him out, getting the ship righted. Okay, we're righting the ship for him. So I want to talk about that a little bit because I'm sitting here and I'm working, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this little thing and that little thing, and oh, this will help him and that'll help him, and then, so anyway, we'll get into that here in a little bit. But first and foremost, if you guys don't know about the Crappie Cove ACC tournament that's happening on Watts Bar Lake, April the 29th here in East Tennessee, you have got to look it up, guys. It is an absolute awesome event. It's going to be really big this year. And the beauty of the event is you only have to catch one big fish. So this is the 3rd year of the event, okay? It's a big fish tournament, all right? And they weigh in every hour. So every hour is a new tournament, okay? There's 8 hours, 8 winners. Then there's a grand prize winner at the end of the day for the guy that catches the biggest fish in the 8 hours, okay? So $1,250 per hour and $2,500 more at the end of the day to the biggest fish of the day. If you don't know about the Crappie Cove ACC tournament, you have got to get involved in it. It is awesome. It's great. It's one worth traveling to. Okay, it's worth traveling to, guys. It really is. Chris Collins, hey Matt, how you doing, bud? Doing well, Chris. How are you? Rick M, hello. Hope you're doing well. Chris, asleep. What's going on, man? I seem to be the only one here. Nice look at the wall there, buddy. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. Ed Cook, heard biologists say that the survival. Okay. Heidi Clark, what's going on, Matt? Laura and the boys are doing well, Heidi. Thank you for asking, as always. He said, Chris said, leave the music on. I'm leaving it on. I'm going to let you guys jam out with me. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me over the music. I got a really big mouth, so I'm sure you probably can, but I am leaving the music on. I kind of like it. That's my jam down here, Chris, when I'm working, when I'm turning wrenches, tightening bolts. What's up, Scott? What's up, Joseph? Whoop. I done did it now. Heidi says, hi, Sarge. Hope you had a great birthday. Yeah, happy birthday, Chris. George, dude, what's up? What's going on, man? Scott, mom comes first. Yeah. Yeah. Paul Gwynn, hello. What's going on? Ed, very, very, very good question. Pros and cons between live scope on a pole versus trolling motor. Well, it's real easy. As you can see, well, you can't see. So this one right here that I'm working on, right there it is on the trolling motor. Crash. Can you see me? Woo-hoo-hoo. Splash down. All right. Stay. As you can see, this one's on the trolling motor. All right. So, pros and cons. Real simple. Pros, you don't have to buy an extra pole. Okay? It's cheaper. Cons, the con is, why is my, oh, I see what's happening. Okay. Every time I move the boat, it moves my, hang on. Let's try that. Now let's try that. There we go. Stay. All right. So pros, it's cheaper. You can install your live scope. You don't have to buy the pole. Cons, if you have spot lock on your trolling motor, okay, you can't use your transducer on the pole because every time you hit spot lock, Ed, your trolling motor sits there and turns, and when it turns, it changes your picture on your transducer and on your unit. Okay, so you don't keep that bait or that fish on the screen as your trolling motor turns with spot lock. Okay. Another con is you're not as accurate, or you can be, but you've got your trolling motor where it's pointing your transducer. A lot of these trolling motors don't have a very good arrow or a very good directional type fixture on them to where you can really see where that transducer is pointing. So a pole, you can get that pole right beside you or right underneath you, right underneath your arm, okay? And you can cast right down that pole, the handle of that pole, and you can get that jig right in line with your transducer, okay? So that's my pros and cons. One con of obviously of the trolling motor is, you know, you have to remember to stow your trolling motor in the correct position every time. Because if you don't, you're going to lay it down on your transducer, very expensive transducer, okay? I prefer a pole, as you can tell, but I'm probably going to try to put one on my old Trex back there and see how I like it. I've fished with them on the trolling motor many a times, but I'm going to give it maybe a little bit of a longer shot and see if I can make it work. I know, well, no, I won't. I probably won't. I'll probably put it on a pole. The hard thing is, again, with spot lock, it just renders live scope useless, okay? It renders it useless if you have spot lock. Oh, Jackie, what's going on? Yes, I did, Jackie. Holler at me. I saw where you called me today, and I haven't had a chance to call you back. Work, ball practice, and now in the shop. So I'll holler at you when we get off here, Jackie. S. Willis, hello, Matt from Tennessee. What's going on? Your ceiling looks good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You talk about when I dropped my phone, you ding dong. I'm dizzy from the fall we took. Well, take some Dramamine. You'll be all right. Come back. Go grab some. Come back. Joseph, Matt needs spot lock on his phone. Yeah, I need spot lock on my phone. Just stay there. All right, so let's talk a little bit about installs, guys. Let's talk a little bit about if you're putting new electronics on your boat, okay? We spend a lot of money on these electronics, okay? Can an individual install these electronics? Sure, absolutely. You certainly can. But if you don't necessarily know the proper way to install these electronics, please, guys, look somebody up. Call around and get quotes. Find you a shop similar to Wired Marine Electronics here in my shop, where I don't play that whole, hourly rate game. Okay, you should be able to call around and get some quotes from people. Hey, I've got a live scope. I need it installed. This is my boat. How much will you charge me? This amount. Yeah, the hourly rate game is kind of monotonous. I I never set up that way because I never liked taking my boat somewhere like that. I always wanted to know how much is it going to cost me. And when I come pick it up, how much am I going to pay? You know, I'm a budgeter. I like to budget. You know, I have kids and a wife and a family and a house and this and that. And I got a budget. You know, I mean, I wish I could say I was multimillionaire, but I'm not. So I got a budget. You know what I mean? And that's the way that I treat my customers. I want them to know when they come to pick up, what I quoted them is what they're going to pay, unless we talk about something during the install that changes the price, and then we talk about it, and it's going to be another $50 or another $100 or whatever. So I say that because find yourself a good installer and let them help you, okay? So, again, I'm not naming names, but this boat came to me today. He said, I started my install. I got pretty much halfway through it or what I think is halfway through it, and I'm stuck. And I'm like, okay, bring it to me. So he's like, cool. So he gets it down here. He drops it off. I'm looking at it. Well, first thing I noticed was his transducer was on backwards. So I'm like, hey, your transducer's backwards. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, your transducer's backwards. He's like, okay, well, flip it around. And I was like, all right, I'll flip it. You know, no big deal. And he said, I'm going to run. I got to get across town, blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, see you. So then I get in the boat, okay? Then I'm starting to look through, and I'm starting to find some other little things like, you know, location of the black box. The black box really need to be closer to the units because the networking cable wouldn't reach. It was too short. So I moved that. And then I got to looking, and I'm looking at power, and he has a lithium battery. He has an external battery, but he was going to run through a switch. Well, I don't run through a switch on LiveScope, guys. I wire straight to the battery. And the reason that is if you want to turn it off, it's just as simple to reach down there and unscrew a nut or unscrew a Phillips head screw on your, or some of those lithium batteries have just a terminal that slides on. And it's just easy to pull that terminal off. You don't need to run through a switch if you're installing LiveScope, guys, because it steals amperage from you. That switch will steal amperage from your units. Don't run through a switch. Just disconnect the battery. It's that simple, okay? So that was one thing that I found. Then he says, hey, I got my stowaway mount. You know, you recommended the stowaway mount. It's awesome. And I'm looking at the stowaway mount, and he's got the bracket on backwards. So the bracket was on backwards. Now, it's not a big deal because with the stowaway mount, all I got to do is take the unit off like I just did, flip this joker around, and put his unit back in it. But the stowaway mount wouldn't lay all the way down on the deck because he had it in backwards. So not a big deal. Take the unit out, flip it over, tell him, hey, this is the way you need to run it. Help you out, right? The little things. Now I can fix his kickstand down here so that his kickstand lays all the way down on the boat so that he gets the full benefit of the unit. And he doesn't have his actual Garmin unit bouncing on the deck and slapping the deck and wearing this $3,000 unit out. Okay, so that's one thing that I found. Again, another thing I found, his kickstand. He didn't have his kickstand set. Well, he couldn't because the unit was laying on the deck because it was on wrong. So now I'm setting his kickstand for him. Okay, so again, it's the little things. It's those little pieces of knowledge that your installer, that somebody that has that knowledge is going to be able to pass on to you, that is going to make you more successful and going to help you when you're on the lake. I got a phone call today, midday, from a guy who said, hey, I'm on the lake. I need your help. I said, what's going on? And he says, hey, I'm not sure what my settings are on. I don't know where to put my settings. Where can I put my settings at? And I said, well, what settings are you looking at? And he goes, well, I'm looking at this color gain, and I've got it up on 80 because I was told that I needed to run my color gain on 80. And I said, your color gain or your gain? And he said, well, I don't know. What's the difference? I said, all right, turn your color gain back down to default. So he says, okay, I got it. Go over to your gain, hit menu, go to gain. Okay. Go to auto medium. Because he said, well, I don't see auto medium. I said, back out of color gain. You're in color gain. Get out of that. Go back to gain. Find your color, your auto medium, and set your auto medium. Okay. So he sets his auto medium, and he says, oh, I can see now. And I'm like, okay, then. Again, this is a gentleman that I helped him a little bit. He needed a couple things, some wire and some stuff like that. But he told me, I got it. I'll install it myself. I don't need any help. Cool. But he called for help. Okay. Don't be afraid to call for help. Don't be afraid to ask. And don't be afraid to let an installer help you with those little techniques and those little tricks to get your units running well. So one thing I do when I install units on a boat, I always set them, okay? Every time I go through these, I can go into one of these Garmin units or Humminbird unit or Lowrance unit or whatever it is, okay? I install it all, not just Garmin. I install Humminbird, Lowrance, Raymarine, whatever. But I always go into these units and I always set them for our region or my region, okay, what I would run if I was running the unit, okay? I've got some base settings that I put in the units. Again, in a live scope, it's auto medium on the gain, your depth 2 feet deeper than your water, and your forward range at 50 feet. That's kind of my base. Go for it. Run it. Right out of the box. That's going to give you a great picture. You can work off that. For the average angler, that's going to run you, that's going to do you fine and dandy for any type of fishing you want to do in our region in East Tennessee. And, it's those little things and I walk through everything on these units. When somebody comes to pick something up out of the shop, I spend 30 minutes with them going through these units and telling them how these units run, what you need to adjust and what you need to leave alone, okay? There's a lot of things that you can turn on and off in these units. As you guys know, there's a lot of things you can get wonky in these units, okay? I always ask what color you like. I always ask what, I always show you the gain, show you the forward range, show you the depth, show you all those little tips and tricks to help you be more successful on the lake. So again, don't be afraid to reach out and don't be afraid to say, hey, what would it cost me? A quote's not going to hurt you. Call and get quotes, guys. If you're not 110% sure that you can install your setup and get it right the first time and be successful the first time on the lake, reach out, okay? Reach out to somebody. And I'm not saying reach out to me. Reach out to anybody. Call around. Get quotes. It's not going to hurt you. So it's just the little things. Like I said, if he would have taken this boat out, if he would have put power to it and taken it out and tried to fish, he would have got extremely frustrated with his live scope. Because first of all, his transducer up here was backwards. So he would have been looking behind him and not been able to find his jig, not been able to find a brush pile, not been able to find anything. And he would have got frustrated, and he may even got rid of his live scope. Okay? So, again, don't be afraid to get help. All right? That's all I got to say about that. So, if your product is set up right and it runs right, you're going to be more successful, right? All right, let's see here. Steve. Hey, Matt, what's a good crappie jig color for a lake with a rocky bottom in slightly stained water? Well, black and chartreuse works on any lake in any color in any application. Black and chartreuse, Steve, works great. But slightly stained water, I'd go with, again, black and chartreuse, white and chartreuse. Your slightly stained could be a little different than my slightly stained, but something with anything with chartreuse in it. Blue and chartreuse, purple and chartreuse, black and chartreuse, white and chartreuse. Anything with a chartreuse tint to it or a black or a dark color is going to do you good in slightly stained water. Oh, it would have helped if his head was set right. I just left his house. Are you talking about who I think you're talking about? And are you talking about the transducer wasn't set right? That wouldn't surprise me. George, just getting going on the live scope and using a 10-inch screen, it's really tough seeing your jig. So it is a little tough, George, seeing your jig, okay? Do you have it on your trolling motor or do you have it on a pole? Because, again, live scope, you don't have a very big beam width, okay? You don't have a very wide beam width, okay? So you got a very narrow beam. The further out you cast your jig, the larger the beam is, okay? But you don't have a very large beam with live scope. So with that said, you really have to get it right in front of that transducer. Okay, so you're on a pole. All right, so you're on a pole. So 2 things to check. Make sure your transducer, take your pole in your garage or outside or wherever you're at. Set your pole on your boat and make sure your handle of your pole lines up perfect with the head of your live scope. Make sure the head of your live scope is pointed exactly where the handle of that pole is. Then, when you're on the lake, if you know your pole is pointed right here, you stand right over top of that pole on the side of your boat and you cast right down that pole and you should see your jig, okay? You really, really, really have to get right in front of that. And that's on guide trips. On my guide trips, that's one thing that I stress to the clients is because I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, cast right down that pole beside you. And they'll cast 10 feet to the right. And I'm like, no. Right down the pole, straight down it. See, stand back here where I'm at. And they'll step back and I'll say, see where that pole's pointing? And they say, yeah, right down that pole, that handle, okay? And I said, not 5 feet right, not 5 feet left, right down the handle, perfectly down the handle. And it is that precise. You really do have to be right there in front of it, okay? That'll help you. What's going on, Rick? George, what's going on? William C., hello, hello. Jimmy Pratt, yes, the transducer was looking straight down, not out. So, again, guys, that's a situation where if you really don't know, I mean, there's a lot of us that are very mechanically inclined, very good with our hands, very good. But if you don't know how to set up a live scope, let someone help you because it will shorten your learning curve. There is a learning curve to these units, a very large learning curve to these units. And having it set up right is half the battle. Once that's done, it's to the races, guys. It's to the races. So take the time. Let somebody that knows what they're doing inspect it at least before you go to the lake. Because I hate to hear guys say, I'm frustrated. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired of this thing. What else have I heard? I'm going to throw it in the lake. I'm selling it. It's not worth the money. I've heard it all. And it's like, it is. But guys, you just got to, you got to have it set right. You got to know where it's at, what you're doing, and have it set in the proper manner so that you can be successful, right? Discount codes. Don't forget the discount codes because I didn't put them up there for you guys. Right down here, www.stowawaymounts.com. 10% off code is wired for that stowaway mount right there, okay? The good thing about this mount, guys, look at this, is not only, okay, let me lay this down. Not only does this mount fold down and lay on the deck so it gets out of your way, but it also, when it's up, you can loosen this thumb screw right here, okay? You tighten it down, and it won't move, first of all, but you can loosen it, and if there's a little glare on your screen, you can tilt that joker and take the glare off your screen so that you can actually see it, okay? The next thing about it is, it raises up, and it goes down. Raise it up, goes down. Raise it up, goes down. Raise it up, goes down. All right, you get my drift? So, you can raise that thing up, get it up there in your face. You don't have to sit there and look down at it like this all day. Get the neck strain. Walk around like this when you get back to the boat ramp trying to get your truck. You're like, I get it in a minute. I'm back up. You got to turn around, look behind you. That t-shirt. I want that. So, I'm obviously. And use that discount code WIRED, Fishing Specialties Pole, discount code WIRED, save 10% there. Don't forget 15% off bonehead tackle right down here in the corner somewhere. Bloom right there. Crappie 2023, 15% off. And 10% off Crappie Cove with the discount code WIRED as well, guys. So take advantage of those discount codes. They're there for you guys, okay? Rigo Outdoors. Hey, brother Matt freaking Xenos. That's an inside joke, guys. It's pretty funny. So we went on a guide trip, and that they nicknamed me Matt freaking Zenos. This is pretty funny. Those guys are a hoot. George, Andy, Matt, do you think that the color gain helps show the jig more once you are on target with the transducer? Once you are on target with the transducer. You know, I've played with that a little bit, and so I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes. I've noticed that what it does do is it kind of gets rid of some of that clutter, kind of filters some of that clutter, those hard returns. It does bring out a little bit more, but I lose a lot of those softer returns, which I don't like, because especially fishing brush, okay? Because when I'm fishing brush, George, I want to be able to see those lighter returns, because those are the little limbs that are down there that are waterlogged, and those little things, those little nuances, if you will, because I don't want to get hung on them, right? I want to be able to work my jig through those little limbs. And so for that matter, I don't like turning my color gain up, but I do believe those hard returns, like your jig or fish, it does bring those out a little bit more, yes. I wish they would make an EcoMap 16 unit. I do too. No doubt. I've actually said that multiple times. And I've actually told my rep that several times. But who knows? Looking forward to seeing everybody at Watts Bar in April. Me too. I will be there. Awesome. Did you guys decide about the tournament day on Watts Bar staying on the same? Yes, tournament on Watts Bar is staying the same. However, the East Tennessee Crappie Club tournament, the Classic, is going to change, George. We're going to push the Classic back to the 20th, because as much as I love you guys, I love my wife more. And that's Mother's Day weekend that we scheduled a tournament on. And I'm not going on to a tournament on Mother's Day weekend, nor am I hosting a tournament on Mother's Day weekend, because I have to come home after. So Mother's Day weekend is for the mothers. That's for my wife. I'm not taking that away from her, because I couldn't do everything that I do for you guys if it wasn't for that woman upstairs. So because my stupidity, I scheduled that on Mother's Day weekend. Originally, we're going to change that and do it on the 20th. Okay? That's the Classic. Also, did you make a decision on putting together a donation for the benefit tournament? I'm not taking up a donation, George, for the benefit tournament. But if you guys want to benefit, if you guys want to give to the tournament, just call the tournament and give to them. I'm not going to dedicate, or I'm not going to take anything up at our tournament and then have to take it to them. And I'm not going to do that. If you guys want to donate to that charity event, just contact them directly and donate to them. I need to give you a call. I have some goodies that needed to be added on my boat. Will you call me? I'm right here, Paul. You got my number. Matt. Hi, Matt from Matt. What's up? I kind of like that name, Matt. It's a good name. It's a good, strong name. My color gain is on 0. Yep. Mine too. Sounds good. All right, guys. I'm sorry again that I missed you guys last night. Going to get back on the lake hopefully this weekend. I actually have some new stuff to put on my boat. First of all, I got to get my hubs that are blown out fixed. I have not been on the lake because I have blown hubs on my trailer. I'm trying to get back on the lake, but I can't get boats out of my shop long enough to work on mine. So mine is actually sitting back here on jack stands. Okay. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'll show you guys. How about that? Would you look at that? Would you look at it? Just look at it. All right. So, let's see. How do I flip this around? Can I flip this around? Maybe. Nah, we won't flip it around. So, current situation. So, we have got the spindle showing. We've got everything cleaned off. We got everything ready to rock and roll. We're just waiting on some parts. And then when we get parts in, we will get everything put back together, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. But for right now, we're down. So Actually, the bearings, the races, the seals, everything for the hub came in. So I actually have those out in the truck. They came in today, and I can work on this thing rather today or tomorrow, hopefully tonight or tomorrow. But I don't want to stay up till 1 in the morning like I did last night working on boats, so I probably won't get it done today. But she blew out pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but check that out. You guys see all that grease in there? There's grease all in my brakes. Yeah. She was slinging. She was slinging really good. So we'll get that fixed. Get back out on the water this weekend, hopefully. I don't think I'm going to do the other side right now. There's going to be some guys that will be like, do both sides. And I'm like, yeah, I probably should. But the other side is actually in really good shape. Knock on wood. Good Lord. Find some wood. Find some wood. Find some wood. Is there wood right here? Oh, there's wood in here. Where's wood at? All right. So we're going to get that taken care of. We're going to get back on the water. We're going to do some trolling videos because the trolling bite is on. It's on, baby. It's on. The planer board bite is rocking and rolling, so I'm looking forward to it. Probably going to go. I don't know. I may pull some boards on Loudon. I've been pulling boards on Telco right here, like that, right there. All right, pulling ACCs. Got them ready to rock and roll on them planer boards, which we talked about last live was planer boards, right? So I'm going to get back out there and do some shows for you guys on the planer boards. And then after planer boards, we're going to do some long line trolling because they're going to be moving back out, you know, kind of that post-spawn pattern, moving back out, moving through those creek channels, okay? So it's going to be a lot of fun when we get ready to get back on the long line bite, okay? In the meantime, though, I got to get this one done and get it back out so that I can get on that one and get back on the water for you guys, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate you guys for watching. Let's see if there's any additional questions real quick. Oh, Todd Pell. Heading to Chick next week. Any pointers? Shoot docks. Shoot docks, fish shallow. That'd be my pointers. Get some planer boards. Chick is a great planer board lake. Matt, I do my bearings every year. Yeah, I used to do. I mean, I grease mine like every 3 months. You know, I try to stay, but my boat's on the road all the time, so I grease mine regularly, and then I inspect them every month because I inspect my hubs before every tournament. That's one of my checklist items for tournament is check your hubs before you leave. Maybe you'll avoid a problem. So I always check my hubs. Well, I checked them before this last Teleco tournament, and there was grease everywhere. So I packed a grease gun full of grease, and I threw it in the back of the truck, and I was out the next morning because it was like 12 o'clock at night when I got to check them, and they were full, or it was blown. But I did make it to the lake and back because it's only 20 minutes from the house, so I was confident that I could make it there and back at least. I stopped 3 times and put grease in the hub to keep them from blowing out and my tire running away from me, but yeah, we made it work. So anyway, as always, guys, God bless. I appreciate y'all. If you guys have any questions about install stuff, electronics, trolling motors, wiring, hubs, motors, maintenance, services, all that, give Wired Marine Electronics a call, me a call. I don't know why I said Marine Electronics, but that's the name of my shop, Wired Marine Electronics. And holler at me. You know, if you guys have anything, be happy to help you guys out. So, as always, God bless. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. And that'll be Wednesday, not Thursday. Sorry I'm a day behind tonight, but that's all right. All right. So, see you guys next Wednesday. And hopefully we'll get back out on the water to get you a video this week. Okay, guys? I hope you guys have a good week. Good night. We'll catch you on the next one.